Hey again, everybody. Today I want to talk about communication and kind of the various forms of it that we have, and kind of what I would say in my experience so far of what the most important ones are. And well, I think they're all important in some way, but kind of the most prevalent ones today and for me. Um, and communication is something that is, something we can't really avoid. Um, and it's a skill that has to be learned. And there's a lot of people that I think don't fully learn it. And I think that's really easy to do today, is not quite have a full understanding of how you communicate with the world and kind of how you accept that communication from the world. Um, and this is something, especially with verbal communication, just speaking, that is a struggle for me. Um, Not so much now, but in earlier years, especially in high school, um, growing up, I grew up with a stutter, and it still comes up now and then. But I used to stammer really bad, and that was something that really halted my communication skills and my ability to socialize and kind of express myself vocally to people, because I was very selective on words, very quiet. I still am really quiet, but uh, I don't usually say things as soon as they come to my head, because I am afraid that I'm gonna stutter on it, that I'm gonna stammer on it. And so I'm usually pretty slow speaking, and I won't. If there's an option to be quiet, I'm probably gonna be quiet. And so I was thinking about this just because of recent things that I've been doing, kind of trying to put myself out there more, and especially kind of especially kind of the influence of social media and like the various forms of technological communication that we have nowadays, and um, kind of how I have an appreciation for my stutter and for my stammer, because it's given me an appreciation for the words that I say, and has made me a lot more selective about the things that I say. Um, and I think with kind of online communication and social media and stuff, you can be really confident with it because people aren't seeing your face. You don't see the other person's face. So you can kind of just put things out there, and there's not an immediate consequence to whatever you say, as opposed to what it would be in person. And so, um, this past week, because it's been Thanksgiving break, so I've had, well, not more time. I've actually have less time than usual because I've been going between states. I've been driving a lot of traveling. So it's been a pretty tiring week. But I've talked to a lot of new people, and a lot of people that I already knew. So there's been a lot of talking going on, a lot of more communication going on this week than kind of has been in a little while. And I was kind of thinking about how I talk when I'm with different people, and how everybody kind of has the personality or the character that they put on when they're with certain people. Like when I'm with my friends, I'm behaving very differently than when I'm with my family. And when I'm with my family, I'm very different than when I'm with my coworkers or with my classmates. And kind of the setting dictates how I'm behaving. And so earlier today, I was at the hot tub. I mean, not even earlier today, like half an hour ago. I was at the hot tub in my apartment complex, which I've met a few people there through. and there were some people there that I had talked to a couple weeks ago. It was kind of awkward because we kind of met like a couple weeks ago. Didn't really get the names, but they were there. I got their names this time, so I know their names now. But so I sat down with them and just said hey, because they were the only familiar faces that were there. So I sit down and I say hey, I'm talking, and they're kind of having like they have their own circle, right? So they're kind of talking in their own thing, and I'm just kind of sitting there listening, and they're talking about things I don't really understand because I'm not part of it. But it made me kind of think about like I'm behaving way different with these people than how I would anybody else, like because these are people that I kind of know but not really. They're still very very much strangers, but less of strangers than the people that are right behind me or the people that are sitting at that hot tub. And so kind of I had an interesting thought there, just kind of with the behavior that we have with communication when it comes to different kinds of people, and kind of made me think of, would it be better if you always were the same around everybody, like you never had any different sides to you, and not that necessarily means that you have different sides, but that you spoke the same way, made the same jokes, did the same thing with everybody that you interacted with? Like, would that be better? Would that be more genuine? Um, and so it was an interesting thought, and I don't really know. I'm not really certain what is best with that sort of thing and what is the appropriate action. Of course, I think of course there's certain jokes and things that you make with friends that only your friends are going to understand. So if you were to say the same things around other people, it just wouldn't make sense. But what I mean is like how you speak, the respectfulness of how you speak, and things like that. Because there's some things where you can't really control that. Like you're gonna speak a lot more respectfully with like your teacher and your classmates than you are with your best friend. So kind of an interesting thing to think about when it comes to language and communication and things. But then with social media and everything now, it's way different. We're in a completely different sphere than what verbal is. And kind of like really the extent of online communication that I have is mostly just with my friends. So that's pretty much the same to how I would interact with them verbally. Like that's pretty consistent. But kind of when you see things that other people post that you don't really know as well, and like I have this one friend, but this guy that I met at one of the events here, that I follow on Instagram. And I don't really know much about him, but he will put these things on his stories that I don't understand what it is at all. And I've looked into it, I don't really get it. But of course I don't really know the guy. So but for him, the people who do understand it are going to be like, "Oh, that's cool." And so it's interesting just to kind of see that in action and seeing the different ways that people are online and kind of the spheres that they're in. So, yeah, so kind of a ramble, but I was just thinking about that since I've been talking to a bunch of different people this week. And kind of that question of how consistent am I from person to person? And how many of those white lies am I really saying? And how much do I say just to say the thing that I think that they want to hear? So I'm kind of working on that. I know it's not really something like I'm not expecting perfection with it, because I think there are of course topics that you avoid with certain people, but trying to be as genuine as possible with every person and being as truthful and kind of avoiding those small lies when you're communicating and striving to be as genuine, as down to earth of a person as I can be. And yeah, but other than that, today was a pretty good day. Got a good run in and worked out, and I'm feeling pretty good. So yeah, back to class tomorrow. So we'll see how things go, but that'll be it for now. And I'll see you guys in the next one.